Alright, we're live. How is everybody? Welcome to Gaming to Life. This is your host, Rich. I've been feeling a little under the weather, but I've been making it through. I did get some new headphones. These are the HyperX. Super comfy. I love them. And I got them specifically for Battlefield. Not Battlefield, what am I saying? Player Unknown Battlegrounds. That's what I got it for. Right now there's been a slump for me in like the games that I want to get in VR. So I've been branching out and using some of the power of my PC. And I don't know. I got also Ghost of a Tale. I'm showing some new footage of that. That's an awesome game. And I pre-ordered Skyrim, which is something that I think is going to be huge for everybody. And I can't wait. And that's going to take up all my time. So I'm not looking for anything in VR right now that I think is really worth it. And I'm going to be dedicating all my time to that. So right now, I just kind of been laying back and just chilling and playing things I like. But I saw this, and what it is light fields. And I heard about this on the news, but I didn't know that it was actually an app on Steam. And it's from Google. And I'm not really sure what it is, but I went ahead and downloaded. I have heard about it, and from what I understand, it's almost like a photorealistic representation of what the future of VR can do. But I know that these pictures are like a composite of many pictures or many angles. From what I heard, it's multiple cameras. It almost reminds me of when like the Matrix first came out and they're recording these things with like a camera with an arc to it with many cameras recording that. And it's something that I want to check out. And I just downloaded it and I'm going to play it on my... Alright, I guess not. We're going to play it on this. Let me see. I know it does work with Windows Mixed Reality. But I want to see. It does use motion controllers. Okay. So let's check it out. It's hard to film this stuff on two computers. It's not as easy, but the good thing is it uses up a lot less horsepower. That's one thing. You put these things on, you can't see anything. Alright. Alright guys, oh wait.
Welcome to a guided tour of light fields. A photograph records the rays of light coming toward a single viewpoint. It's a wonderful record of the scene, but it's two-dimensional and doesn't let you change your point of view as you move your head back and forth.
That's gotta be a way to do this.
A stereo photograph contains two views of the scene, one for each eye, which allows us to perceive depth.
Wow. I'm going to have to stretch it out. Alright, that's the best I can do.
But it still doesn't let us shift our view as we move our head, and doing so might even make the scene distort unnaturally. A light field uses an array of cameras to record all the rays of light coming into a volume of space, which allows us to display the correct perspective of the scene for any point of view looking through the volume. Keep looking forward and try moving your head back and forth to see things shift in the scene.
Yeah, I see it a little bit.
If we view a spherical light field from inside the volume, We can see properly rendered 3D views of the scene in every direction,
Like,
and they shift in perspective as we move left and right, forward and back, or up and down.
yeah, I can only move a little tiny
In this
bit.
light field of a living room set at the LA YouTube space, we can also see shifting reflections the light field brings to life in the mirror to the right, and the metal drum on the mantle to the left. So take a moment to look around, take note of the surrounding white circles which can help you stay inside the light field volume, and get ready to explore a few interesting places using light fields.
Okay, you can recenter it.
We'll
Wow.
start in the front yard of the Mosaic Tile House in Venice, California. Over 2 decades, artists Sherry Pan and Gonzalo Duran
Wow, it looks like-
sculpted and decorated their home with fragmented pottery from their kiln,
That looks so cool.
found objects such as coffee mugs and porcelain figurines, and bottles melted into flattened slabs of glass.
This is like the best 360 pictures I've ever seen.
They also embedded shards of broken mirror into the mosaic, which shift their reflections as you move back and forth.
Cool.
Even the home's interior is covered in decorative tile, including the front living room.
How do you dust
Serves as
this?
a gift shop for Sherry and Gonzalo's smaller works of art.
Wow. This whole place is a work of art.
Moving to a very different style of home, we're now in the entryway of the Gamble House in Pasadena, California, often called America's arts and crafts masterpiece.
Wow, this is so
The
cool.
entryway receives light from the front door's leaded glass design of a Japanese black
This is a
marble.
free program on
The staircase
Steam.
to the
Go
left
get it, guys.
exemplifies the home's
If you have
exquisite
VR.
teak and mahogany joinery. The living room shows how architects Charles and Henry
Ah, it's
Green
cool.
combined
I can
Western
see a
and
little bit of
Japanese
the,
design elements
like if I'm really
and
in this
achieve
room.
harmony through a unified design of the architecture, furnishings, and even the light fixtures.
It's cool. I can see
This light
around
field in
it.
the dining room makes it easy to notice the luster of the finished wood and the tile inlay in the mantle over
Yeah,
the
you can
fire.
definitely see it. This is what I wish VR would look like.
This final Gamble House light field in the butler's kitchen
Like if
shows
I could
sharp
just pick things
reflections
up
in the
right
white
here.
tile, dull reflections in the metal sinks, and shiny reflections in the turn-of-the-century tea set to the right.
This is definitely the best VR I've
Moving
ever
to
seen.
St. Stephen's Church in Granada Hills, we're now looking up to Roger Derrick Herrera's Light of the World stained glass window, originally displayed at the 1964 New York World's Fair. If you lean left and right within the light field volume, you can see the sun move behind the differently colored pieces of glass, just as it would in real
Oh
life.
yeah, that looks so cool. Wow.
Looking to the heavens in a different way, we're now in front of the Space Shuttle Discovery at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum's Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center in Chantilly, Virginia. The
Oh,
third of NASA's 5 shuttles and flew to space 39 times from 1984 to 2011, more missions than any other spacecraft.
see, I had to stretch your
Discovery's
picture,
body is covered in
so
white
it's not gonna look as good.
insulation blankets, and its underside and nose in black ceramic tile.
It still looks really good.
Both necessary to protect the shuttle when re-entering Earth's atmosphere at up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
I wish there's a way it
Discovery's main
showed it, but
engines
it
burn
won't.
liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen drawn from a huge external fuel tank mounted to the underside of the orbiter. With additional thrust from solid rocket boosters beside the tank, the vehicle could reach orbit in just 8.5 minutes at over 17,000 miles per hour.
It's pretty big. I feel like so
Discovery's
small.
spacious cargo bay carried the Hubble Space Telescope and other large payloads to space. In front of us, the external airlock could be configured for docking with space stations or used by astronauts for spacewalks.
Haha.
Up and to the right is the orbiter boom sensor system, an extension for the
Wow,
camera
this is what I want
system
VR to look like in the
would
future.
normally be cradled on the opposite side of the cargo bay. Floating through the airlock takes us to Discovery's middeck, where its typical crew of 7 would live, work, eat.
And I know it could. If I can see this right
To the
now,
right are the crew lockers.
there's no way why I couldn't.
Is the airlock leading back to the cargo bay. The curved beam overhead is part of a crew escape system added to the fleet after the loss of Space Shuttle Challenger and its crew. The ladder leads to Discovery's flight deck. The commander sat to the left, the
I
pilot
can
sat
see
to the
almost
right,
around it.
and 2 more astronauts could ride behind them, while others flew seated in the middeck. The commander and pilot each had a joystick to fly the ship as a glider when returning to Earth, and another hand
Wow,
control for
imagine-
maneuvers in orbit.
Ah, this
Behind
is
us,
what
aft flight deck
X-planes
control
should look
center
like.
with controls for performing docking maneuvers and manipulating the canopy.
I mean, X-Plane looks pretty good.
To see into the cargo bay and
Some of these flight simulators look really good.
The Smithsonian Air and Space Museum staff was not only gracious enough to provide access to the inside of this priceless national treasure, but to pose for a group photo below the entry hatch, next to where the Canadon is displayed.
What's up, guys?
To record this light field, they held still for 30 seconds, keeping their eyes on the center of the light field rig as the cameras rotated around. If you lean back and forth, you may be able to notice that you can move into and out of each person's line of sight.
Yeah, a little bit.
Back at the Mosaic Tile House, Sherry Pan and Gonzalo Duran also posed for a few light field portraits. In this light field at sunset, Sherry and Gonzalo fix their gaze looking toward each other. If you lean to the left, you can see the sun disappear behind the bush, and you might also catch Gonzalo starting a smile. In this light field on the front porch, Sherry and Gonzalo followed the camera array with their eyes as it went around, producing the effect of them looking toward you rather than through you, as you lean left and right in the scene. Paintings and photographs can also give the sense of a subject looking
That's
back at you,
weird.
but in a light field, your perspective within the scene can change as well.
That's so
In this final
weird.
light field, Sherry and Gonzalo gave their attention to each other, rather than to the camera, surrounded by the environment of their own creation.
That's so cool.
We hope you've enjoyed this short tour with light fields, and we'll visit the gallery where you can see these and a few more light fields for as long as you'd like.
Yes, I've enjoyed it.
Where would you like light fields to take you next?
I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. I wish I didn't have to stretch it in order to show you guys, but it was. See, the developer has a choice on what they can show on the screen while you're in VR. They can decide, oh, we can just show a little image of it. They can decide we'll just show the whole thing. They can decide whether they want a stereograph picture of it, or they could decide to show us nothing on the screen if they wanted to. So in situations like that, unless I just use my one PC and I use a plugin where you can see whatever you're seeing off of one of the eyes, I could probably tape it that way. But I think you guys get an understanding. It wasn't too blurry. You can, to me, it just looks like really good 3D pictures. This whole light field thing, I don't really see. I mean, it looks really good, but show me a game with just one level like that. That's what I want to see. You know, do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button. I'm gonna see how many likes I get, and hopefully I can break 10. But I haven't been doing this for a little bit, so we'll see. All right, you guys have a good night, and thank you very much for tuning in and for supporting me this long. It's more than I deserve. All right, but when Skyrim comes out, this is no longer going to be gaming in still life. This is going to be Skyrim in still life. All right, you have a good night.